Thank you for watching the Solid Sports Gaming channel. This is another presentation of the Solid Sports video blog. This is episode 187. Today's date is July 2nd, 2022. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm Troy West, and thank you always for coming with me and spending time with me every week. We talk sports here. Like I said, I might have to try to edit my time. Like I said, I get an hour to record, and I messed up last week. I had to cut out my baseball segment, so sorry about that, but hopefully this week I keep an eye on how much time I have left. I need to get a timer, to be honest with you guys. So I'm sorry about that last week. Hopefully that don't happen this week. I'm a rambler. I get to rambling and go into a subject or a topic, or me thanking you guys, and I ramble off too much, and like I'm doing now. So I'm not gonna waste no time and get into the video. MLB latest, Max Scherzer is back for the New York Mets. What do that mean for the Mets going forward? And we'll go around the league as well, like we always do. NBA news, NBA free agency started Thursday. There's been a lot of crazy things to cover. Durant was out of Brooklyn. A lot of people out there. Kyrie already opted in. That was huge as well for the Nets. So we'll see what that situation is going to be. A Rudy Gobert trade to Minnesota, or what did it be for the Jazz and the T-Wolves? We'll touch on that. And just other news. Most people stayed on their teams. They got the Supermax. So we'll go through all that quickly as well. NFL news, the Deshaun Watson latest. His hearing has concluded. It took 3 days. So we'll see what the NFL hands, punishment they hand down. The NFL wants a year, which they stand behind the scenes. So we'll see if he gets that. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle, I believe. Maybe 8 to 10 games, but we'll see. If I get any news while I'm on here, I will break that news as well. And our Roundabout NFL Series continues. We'll talk about the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and the Steelers today. The AFC North is our division, so we'll do that. So we're almost done. All our divisions, and I just, if I got time, with some quick final thoughts and everything. But let's start with the baseball. Max Scherzer, he's supposed to come back for the New York Mets this week. I think Tuesday he's scheduled to start. Like I said, I think he's somewhat underrated, because he ain't the first pitcher you think about. You think about now it's Tony, because he's so popular now. I think Jacob deGrom get a lot of press, which they on the same team. But Max Scherzer has been the most consistent pitcher to me the last few years. Yeah, he was injured, but if I had to pick one person, I'd say I would pick him. I really mean that. Over Kershaw, over Garrett Cole got a case as well. There's other pitchers out there like Blake Snell. It's a lot of starting pitchers that get a lot of flack. A lot of attention here. But I think he's the best to me. I still take him over anybody right now. I think that's going to boost the Mets' chances to hold off my Braves. My Braves was coming. They've been hot. So they coming. They started to get healthy, so they coming. But I think it's a huge lift for the Mets before the All-Star break. Get him back into the fold. Go on to that next run. As I'm pulling up the standings now. My Braves only 3 games, 3.5 back now of the Mets, so they closed the gap even more. Like I said, the Phillies been playing a lot better as well. I guess people probably started to look at Joe Girardi and see what was he doing. I pretty much been saying that every week since that happened. So let's stay in the National League then, since we talked about the Mets. Yeah, they 48-29, so they got the best, Dodgers by percentage points, but they have the most wins. But my Braves right there with 45 wins. Then it's Philly at 41-37. Then Miami and Washington. It's up the rear. Milwaukee Brewers, they 2 games up on the St. Louis Cardinals. Other than that, everybody else pretty much out of it. Pittsburgh, Chicago Cubs, and Cincinnati Reds. And then we go to the NL West. Dodgers, like I said, 48 wins as well. They just got 1 less loss. Padres are still right there, 3.5 back. That's been a gap. I think they play at each other right now, right? Or they just did. Maybe that's where that gap came from. Giants still try to hold on. They 7.5 back at 40 and 35. Arizona and Colorado back there. Because remember, with this division, the beginning, all the teams was over 500. You know, pretty much a game or two from each other. But the separation is starting to happen now. And this is usually the time where you start to see the separation in baseball. Yankees, they're the Yankees. 56 wins, cruising, 12 games over the Toronto Blue Jays. Red Sox has been red hot as well. Like, they turned things around. And now all the way up to third. They was in second, but the Blue Jays, they just had a series. Blue Jays, I think, won that series. So now they a game up on Boston. Tampa still hanging in there with 40 wins. And the Orioles, like I said, I'm an Orioles fan as well. I'm from Baltimore. 35 and 43. Way better than they was last year, but still a last place team. But we'll see. We just never know. You continue to fight. Maybe you can get a wild card, but you got to start making a move now, a push now for that. AL Central, Minnesota Twins, a game and a half up on the Cleveland Indians. White Sox, I still think got a chance because, I mean, just because how talented they are. With they 3 games under in third place, and then you got Detroit, Kansas City, which is pretty much, unfortunately, it's over for them already. Houston Astros dominating this division. All the rest of the teams are under 500. The Angels, to me, like I said, very disappointing. There's too much talent, so I understand why they can't put it into play. But Astros are quietly, having another great year. So watch them definitely in the postseason as well. So that's our baseball update. Like I said, I didn't want to be too long-winded with that. So now we're about to start talking about the NBA. The NBA been crazy since the finals ended. The draft was last week. Now a lot of teams put together, try to see what they're going to do next season. Let's talk about the Kevin Durant thing first. Of course, you heard, if you're a sports fan or basketball fan, that he wanted to be traded. Now, I guess let's talk about the basketball side of it first. Let's just forget the reason why you think he want to leave. We'll talk about that too, but I don't know. I know it's a rule out there. Depends on some of the players that the Nets might want back. Because his choices is Miami and Phoenix. Phoenix makes a lot of sense. I think Phoenix is kind of realistic. I think you sign a trade for Ayton. There you go. So Durant there with Chris Paul. Devin Booker just signed a Supermax. And I don't think Chris Paul is done. I just think Chris Paul, well, he's a little older. So I just think he, I don't know, I think it seems like he breaks down at the end of the season, which is not good. I say that's a good thing, but I still think he got something left. I think it'd be less pressure off of him. So I think, even though I think he was good for the Suns, I think it was too much pressure on him still. Like, even though Devin Booker was the main scorer, but other than Devin Booker, they had no consistent scoring because it wasn't consistent scoring. So Chris Paul, I think if they really get the right, he can really step back and just run the offense. You don't have to score as offense. So I think it'll work for the Suns, like we look at it in basketball sense. Now Miami, the only problem with that is what do Brooklyn went back from Miami. You think Jimmy Butler probably off the table. If you want Bam, because of Ben Simmons on a roster with that rookie, some type of rule is like if you sign this rookie thing or something, that's basically you can't have two of those. You only can have one of those on your roster. So if they trade for Bam, they would have to move Simmons as well. So that's the dilemma there. And like I said, the Ben Simmons, well, we ain't gonna talk about Ben Simmons today much, but I don't know how he's doing. Like, if he's ready to play basketball or anything. So they the two teams he want, but the Miami one to be hard. But I think if somehow they made that happen, let's just say you could trade for Bam. I think that will work, because I think Bam is great, but I think his interior defense had to improve. But the Heat, I don't know. I think he'll make the Heat. He'll give them the Rat give them a consistent story, even though Jimmy could do it when he got to. I think Bam should have stepped up a little bit more offensively as well in the playoffs. I think they would have got by Boston if he did. But that's going to be interesting. They're the two teams he want to go to. The Phoenix one I think is more realistic though. And then this other team, they said Toronto might be a sleeper team that might get him. Philadelphia, that's not happening. Because they're gonna want something back, like they gonna want Maxey or somebody. I think Philadelphia really want to hold on to Maxey. Embiid ain't going nowhere. Or unless you trade Harden back to Brooklyn, which don't make sense. So Philly is out, even though they was trying to make that. Somebody tried to make sense of that. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Some people say Boston, but I think Boston they like their homegrown players more. I mean, they sign free agents, but this is going to be a free agent. This will be a trade, so I don't see Boston doing it. Somebody threw that out there. The crazy thing, the Lakers, because he still want to play with Kyrie, so send him and Kyrie to play with LeBron, send Westbrook to Brooklyn. I don't see that happening either. And then the Lakers don't got no cap space, so I don't think that can work. Like, you would have to make a lot of moves. Even though Westbrook gonna be a big part of that because he's owed $47 million this year. So I don't think that's gonna happen. So we'll see, but I don't think so. I think the Phoenix one, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. The rest, just because he want to go to Miami, maybe they'll make that work. But I think all the other teams is pretty much far-fetched. I don't think it's going to happen. But far as why, I think he want to leave, I really don't know. Kevin Durant is his own man. He thinks outside the box, inside the box. He just feels the way he feels. I'm thinking it got to be management because, Kyrie just opted in, which is not a surprise. You're not going to leave $30 million when you can. Basically, it's there for you to take it or be a free agent. And Kyrie, honestly, his market ain't too hot right now because Kyrie has been consistent in and out the lineup and stuff. I mean, I'm not surprised he opted in, but I thought once he opted in, all right, they just see what they got with Ben Simmons and come back this season. But Durant, well, you know him, not saying you know him personally, but how he operate. Once he make a decision on something, I don't see this flipping back. I think he's serious. I think he wants out of this. I think it gotta be somebody in management might have did something that he don't like or something, and I think. Somehow they can still, because he still want to play with Kyrie. That's so that report been put out there, so I'm guessing that's true because he didn't say anything. But if he still do want to play with Kyrie, but not at Brooklyn, then I don't, it's going to be tough. Like I said, Kyrie's going to be tough to move, and then himself, because so it depends on the situation. So. But honestly, I don't have an idea why he would want to leave. I would just run it back this season. Kyrie will definitely be a free agent next year, and you see what happens. Because I think this team has potential to win a title if everybody, if Ben Simmons be Ben Simmons. You still got Steph Curry. You got the nice role players around him. Patty Mills just signed back up, I think. So they got nice pieces there to make a run. I think, I thought they would push Boston more, but they got swept. But so we'll see with this situation. But he's definitely, if he's decided he want to move, I think that's pretty much the truth. What's going on? I don't think that's just no rational things and nothing going on. Excuse me. I had to stretch a little bit. So yeah. So I don't think. I think that's true. I think he really wants out. So then that's going to have to do it because there's going to be a mess when the season comes around. Okay, one more trade that was sort of surprising, but we'll see if we can make sense of that. Well, a couple of them. The John Wall trade to the Clippers, that happened a couple of days ago. Well, it really wasn't a trade. I think he opted out. Let me check that. But anyway, he's on the Clippers now. So that's going to be interesting. But we'll see if Kawhi Leonard comes back with Paul George. That could be an interesting team to look forward to seeing. Still got Reggie Jackson. I think Reggie Jackson has been huge the last year and a half. Like, he just came out of his shell for some reason. He always been a good player. Even back in his OKC days, he was a great player. I think he just, I don't know, just something missing in him. Maybe the teams didn't care for, but I like his swagger. I like his confidence. The Clippers, that'll be a team to look out for next year. What do Ja Wall have? Because we haven't seen him in basically 2 years. So really, since he left Washington, we haven't really seen what Ja Wall was. So we'll see what he got. If he's anywhere near where he used to be, that'll be a good element. Because, like I said, two positions that's underrated but still need NBA. I don't care how much the game changes. I don't care, if all they do is shoot threes. You still need a point guard, and you need some type of interior presence. Like, if you had both of those, then you're doing well. That's why I think Boston was their biggest weakness. Even though Marcus Smart is a great player, but he's not really a point guard. He don't run the offense to precision that you need it to be. So I think that's why all the turnovers happen, because Jaylen Brown had to handle the ball, or Jason Tatum had to handle the ball. Even Marcus Smart handled the ball, but they're not true point guards, You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it was their biggest weakness, and still is their biggest weakness. Even though they just got Malcolm Brogdon, we'll see if that helps. They'll probably start him and Smart together. But there was a lot of moves, but the Rudy Gobert thing, that sort of, it was I wouldn't say it was a shock, but I think Utah, to me, is about to somewhat break this team down a little bit. Rudy Gobert, I think he fits in with Minnesota, though, from a basketball standpoint. Him and Cat, you can start both of those guys. Cat is more of a outside guy anyway, but he's a big man, still can rebound, play defense and stuff. So Rudy Gobert can patrol that paint. But I think the quiet, well, it's not quiet because he's not, but the biggest element of this trade that they lose to Patrick Beverley. I think Patrick Beverley is like the glue to that locker. He's like another Draymond Green, basically. He don't put up a lot of numbers. He don't light you up, but he can shoot. He's a streaky scorer. But he's a hell of a defender, of course. He gets in your head. Like I say, remind me of a smaller version of Draymond Green. They got a similar qualities to him, and I think he's gonna be missing it. So I think that's why they got to where they got, because you could tell that they was younger than experienced. But I think he pushed them further than what they. I think he got a lot of potential out those guys. But that's still a good squad with Anthony Edwards. He's growing to be a great player. Still got D'Angelo Russell, so Minnesota, that nice little team, and I think Rudy Gobert definitely improves their defense. So we'll see how that works out. But that's look like Utah, or looking at it for the Utah and Donovan Mitchell next, if they're gonna try to move Donovan Mitchell. If they keep him, then maybe they want to move Gobert, get some assets or whatever. But they had to change that team. They pretty much put the same team out there every year. You would get to the second round and leave, or first round and be out. So, and Donovan Mitchell will average well over 30 points in the series, and they had no other scorer. Gobert is not a scorer at all. He's just basically there to rebound and play defense and block shots. He can get an occasional dunk here and there, but he's not somebody who can he posts it up and take you one-on-one. That's not happening. So that's going to be interesting on both sides. So we'll see what Utah plan is. But I think this something had to be done. They had to change that team. But other news, like I said, a lot of people got the max. Like I said, Supermax, Zach LaVine, Smith and Devin Booker, John Morant got a Supermax deal. You see Nurkic from Portland, he got a big deal. Speaking of the champion Warriors, the Warriors, they're gonna keep Looney, but they had DiVincenzo. I like how DiVincenzo plays, so I think that'll help the Warriors. I think the Warriors, like I said, if James Wiseman develops with Looney, and then you got DiVincenzo, Jordan Poole, Steph still gonna be Steph, Draymond still gonna be motivated. I think Clay will be better next year now that he played, got his feet wet with the injury. I think the Warriors will be another contender again next season. So, but that was a move. I mentioned Celtics getting Malcolm Brogdon. Now he's more of a traditional point guard, so maybe they try to fill that weakness. They made it a trade with them. Like I said, a lot of people stayed where they was at, got the Supermax. Zach LaVine from Chicago, forgot to mention him. He got a nice payday as well. So a lot of moves in the NBA. But now that everybody's on pause, maybe with Kevin Durant to go. How long it's going to take? Because some teams might be hesitant to make moves now. They might be focused on Kevin Durant or trying to get him. So we'll see how things develop. The NBA is going crazy right now, so yeah. But Minnesota traded 4 firsts in that Rudy Gobert trade. Let's look at that. That's crazy when they gave up that many trades. 4 first rounders, yep. Wow. But yeah, I said Patrick Beverly is a part of the deal. So I think that's too much. Because if all they got was Gobert, he ain't worth that much. You know what I'm saying? I think that's it. Yeah, it's saying here. Minnesota said Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly, what I said, Jared Vanderbilt, Leonardo Balmo, the 22nd overall pick, Walker Kessler, I guess who they got this season, and 4 first round picks to the Jazz. So they unprotected in 23, 25, and 27. And a top 5 protected pick at 29. Oh, Danny Ainge is in Utah now? I didn't know that. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Alright, so I learned something in this article. But yeah, I think it was all that for Gobert, though. Yeah. I mean, I think Minnesota, I think they're going to be a good team, but I wouldn't put them, at the top with this deal. Yeah, that's too much then. I didn't know it was that much. You got, just for Gobert? No, right? So, but, Daddy Age behind it, so that's, look at what Boston did. They got all those picks. But see, Minnesota is supposed to be good now, so maybe Minnesota think they'd be high first rounders. They should be, they'd be in the playoffs. Should be no lottery picks unless something happened, So maybe Minnesota thinking that, but to me that's too much. Maybe 2. I would have gave them 2 first rounders and maybe all those players, but not 4. Cause you just never know. Like with this 2022 now, right? So. I named all these eventually every other year. Utah gets they pick. But they might be, maybe they flipping it to do something. I don't know. We'll see. But to me that was too much, to be honest with you. But Minnesota makes them a much better team though. But I just think they should have tried to kept Pat Bev. I think he fitted in there well. All right, so we'll move on from the NBA. We make a good time this morning. Got about a half hour, so we make a good time. I ain't over talking today. Thank God. All right, let's get into the NFL now. Rashad Watson latest. Really ain't no latest because still ain't no verdict going on how many games he gonna get suspended for. We just know he's gonna definitely get suspended. We're gonna talk about the Browns anyway in a few minutes. We're gonna talk about Baker, all their situation, what's gonna go on with them in the next few weeks, because we're in July, so another month we'd be talking about preseason and things of that nature. But like I said, the NFL once a year. I don't think it's going to be a year. That's just my gut feeling. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a year, just because. Like I said, I'm not a judgmental person, but I don't know what he was thinking. Like, I understand 2, 3 women. I don't even understand it because I don't, his behavior, just, I don't really want to get into that. That's a whole, that's going outside the sports realm. But over 20 something, it's just hard to believe that nothing happened, because he said he's completely innocent, and I don't believe that. I just don't. With 20 something women getting together and getting this lawsuit. Now, most of them he settled out of court with. I think it's only like 2 or 3 of them he's still battling in court with. But the majority, like 20 other women, he settled out of court. He settled with them. So that sort of probably gets him, ease his mind a little bit. But if we look at it on the football field standpoint, which we are with the Browns, let's say, like I said, I think he might get between 8 and 10 games. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think he go to appeal, then they go to meet. Not in the middle, because you can't. That's 17 games now. So that's what I'm saying. It might be 9, 10 games suspension. Then he comes back for the last 7 games. But we're going to talk more about that when we get to the Browns and our Roundabout series. Because the Baker Mayfield thing ain't going nowhere. It sort of calmed down a little bit, because Baker came out and said, we both passed it. And I think he meant, like, there's no point to keep talking about it or say how unhappy I am or whatever. But we'll see if he gets traded before the. But I think the Browns will probably want to see how many games. If Watson out, like I said, the 10 games, or the year, they probably, like I said, they might want to try to mend things with Baker just for this season. So it's a possibility he might stay. But if it's a shorter suspension than they think, I think they still going to want Baker to walk. So, or they're going to trade for him. I think they're going to release, because I think they would have released him by now. So I'm starting to think they're going to, if they do move, it's going to be a trade. So that's the latest with him. There's no timetable when we're going to hear the lift for the suspension. So we just have to sit and wait and see on that. But we're going to talk more about that in a second. Let's get to our NFL Roundabout Series. The AFC North is our featured division today. So that's the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, which is a good thing. We can talk about the Washington thing a little bit more, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we're going to start with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a Ravens fan. I've said it on here before. I'm from Baltimore, born and raised here. Big Ravens fan, so I'm excited to talk about the Ravens. Last year, just injuries just destroyed them. Let's pull up their schedule, as I like to do. I like to go through each team's schedule when we do this. So let's put up the Ravens schedule. Will Lamar Jackson be back to his MVP form? He was hurt the last 6 games of the season. Okay. Oh, I got an easier way to do this, because it's the Ravens is not there. Ain't that a blip? That's all right. I go the long way. Yeah, but I think they got promise this season. I think it's going to be, this division is tough though, because Cincinnati, they just was in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow looks like Joe Burrow. Browns, despite all their problems, they still have talent. Pittsburgh, their defense, the quarterback situation is their weakness, but their defense is still championship caliber. So with TJ Watt running that, so the Steelers won't be a pushover either. Okay, let's look at the Ravens schedule that I got it pulled up. At the Jets to start week 1. Then Miami comes to Baltimore, the Dolphins. Big game against the Buffalo Bills at home. Then they got Cincinnati. It's a Sunday night game at home. Then they go play the New York Giants on the road. Then Cleveland comes here. Then they go to Tampa Bay. That's a Thursday night game. Then at New Orleans Monday night. So 2 prime games in a row. Carolina comes here. Then they go to Jacksonville. So schedule a little tough, but got some winnable games here. Broncos comes here as we in December now. Then you face the Steelers. It's the first meeting with the Steelers late in December. We go to Pittsburgh. Then we go to Cleveland. Still don't know what time or what station to be on yet. Falcons come to Baltimore, face the Ravens, then the Steelers again, and here in Baltimore, then they finish the season with the Bengals. So, like I said, just went through the schedule. There's a couple of winnable games in there to get the advantage of, but like I said, the Ravens' biggest questions is Lamar going to be back to his form? How the offense going to run? Will they still be run heavy? Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins come back. Can they be back to where they used to be before their injuries? On the offensive side, the receivers, yeah, they're young, so we'll see how they pan out. But Mark Andrews is the top receiver, basically. So he's going to still get most of the balls. I think he had over 100 last year. I think it'll be similar this year. The defense, like I said, a lot of injuries on the defensive side. Marcus Peters back. Unfortunately, we lost Jalen Ferguson, as you heard this weekend. Then the news is now that it was it was about 2 weeks ago now. I'm sorry. It was an overdose of cocaine and fentanyl, which is sad. Makes it even sadder that's the reason why. I just thought maybe it was just some type of condition. But then I saw the neighborhood he was in, and I'm from Baltimore, and I was like, that's not, for not saying that NFL players or anybody can't live where they want to live. I don't know if he lived there, where they found him at. They still leaving out a lot of details. But when I saw that neighborhood, I was like, the first thing I thought of, that somebody hurt him. But if that's the case, that's a big problem here in the city right now. Our city is on fire. This, I want to get off. This, I'm not gonna get off topic. I'm reining myself in, but just look at Baltimore and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's terrible. I live in if anybody from Baltimore, I live right around the corner. I'm on Belvedere and Ricedale Road. It's terrible around here, man. You basically gotta keep your eyes and your ears open. You gotta have eyes in the back of your head. It's dangerous. It's all types of drug activity, everything. And it's a police station. I live right behind the police station. I ain't gonna put out the district, but if you from Baltimore, you know exactly where I'm at. If you from here, it's terrible, man. But he was in sort of not a great neighborhood either. The whole city is bad, but I just was telling you where I was. But unfortunately, that's a loss. Then we lost Tony Saragusa, but I think that's going to help the Ravens, though. I think that's going to motivate them. It's going to give them some extra motivation to play in the honor of those two. The Goose was a legend, of course. But this year is going to be interesting, like I said, because everybody come back from their injuries and still produce the way they used to. If so, Ravens will be formidable. AFC though, a little deeper. Like I said, just look at the teams in just this division alone. So it's gonna be rough, but our schedule I think will help us navigate through tough times. I think we should be fine this year, and I'm saying we as a fan now. Okay, let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me pull their schedule up. Bengals, of course, defending AFC champions. Sort of surprised they got there. But Joe Burrow is the truth. Jamar Chase, that receiving core. It's just can they keep that offense? They got to improve that offensive line, which I think they tried to do in the draft. Okay, so we have the Bengals schedule. They start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then they go to Dallas for the Cowboys. Then at the New York Jets. Then they home for the Miami Dolphins. That's a Thursday night game, by the way. Then they play the Ravens. A Sunday night game, which I mentioned on the Ravens schedule. Then they go to New Orleans. Come back home for Atlanta. Then Halloween, Monday night. They hosted they at Cleveland. Excuse me, where I'm at here. Then they get Carolina at home. Then they at Pittsburgh. That's another Sunday night day. They lost a lot of primetime games this year. At Tennessee, a rematch of the playoffs. Another rematch at Chiefs come to Cincinnati. Then got the Browns again at home. Then they go to Tampa. That'll be an interesting game. Then at New England. Then Monday night game, they host the Bills, and then they finish with us for the final game of the season. So, reaching as far as they got. Then they was the number one. They was number one of the division last year. They scheduled a little tough, but we'll see what the Bengals are made of this season. Usually Super Bowl hangover is usually kind of true. You don't get back there. There's so many distractions and everything else. So we'll see if the Bengals can bounce back. But like I said, their biggest thing, if they can fix that offensive line, keep Joe Burrow clean, the Bengals will be fine, I think. They're gonna be another contender. Like I said, not even the underrated person is Joe Mixon. I really like him, running back. I think they need to feature him a little bit more in offense. Defensively, they was okay. They was a little bit opportunistic, a little bit. The defense got to improve a little bit. But other than that, the Bengals will be a contender. As long as they can keep Joe Burrow clean. And for him from getting hurt or sacked too many times. I think he was the most sacked quarterback in the league, which to me is amazing because he just came off that devastating injury the year before, and he still took a beating and got up and got his team all the way to the Super Bowl. So I respect that. But I think in this division, the Ravens and the Bengals will be the top two teams for a while. I think the Browns will be right there. We'll see what Deshaun Watson brings. The Steelers is just their quarterback situation, but you can pretty much make an argument for any of these four teams to be successful this season. Alright, so let's move on to the Browns now. Of course, we already talked about them a little bit due to the situation. Like I said, the biggest question mark, how long Deshaun Watson going to be out for the Browns? Is Baker still going to be there? Will they move on from Baker? All these are questions, but let's pull up their schedules. But I think the Browns shoot themselves in the foot because I think they should focus on giving the ball to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I think they tried to put too much on Baker Mayfield. All right, let's look at their schedule. At Carolina, which could be Baker going against his team because the Panthers are very interested in him. So we'll see with that. Then at Jets at home. Then play the Steelers, excuse me. That's a Thursday night game. Then at Atlanta at home. I mean on the road. Then host New England. Then they got the Ravens on the 23rd of October. Then of course the Halloween game at home against the Browns. It's a Monday night. They got the Dolphins on the road. Then they go to Buffalo. Then they home for Tampa. Then they go to Houston. Just gotta make sure I'm past the Ravens game. Then at Cincinnati. Then they play the Ravens again. I think it's a home game. Yep, December 18th. Then New Orleans come to Cleveland to face the Browns. Then they at Washington, and then they finish with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah. So the Browns schedule not too tough, but like I said, I think the Browns shoot themselves in the foot with their offense. I think Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb should get the ball more, even if Deshaun Watson plays. I think you need to get them the ball a lot more than they did. I think they tried to throw the ball too much. Defensively, they got some guys. Myles Garrett is the truth. He's that good at defense, so make things happen. Brown's not a bad team. It's just the circus that it is right now. So we'll see how the quarterback thing work. Will Baker still be there in training camp, or will they move him before then? How many games Deshaun Watson going to get? Like I said it'd be between 8 and 10, I believe. But the NFL is pushing for a whole year suspension. If it's a whole year suspension, I think that ups the chances that Baker might stay another year and make his excuse me, sorry. I guess that's the thing with that. I think that's going to be determined how long Baker stays. If it's a year, I think they'll keep him or try to keep him, and he'd be the starter for sure, But if not, I think they might still try to move him. But the Browns, I think you got some optimist Browns fans. You got a reason to think that reasons to look forward to this season. I think it still could be a successful season regardless of all this stuff going on. It's just too talented. So but like I said, the division is just tough. You gotta beat your division. Can you beat the Bengals? Can you beat the Ravens? The Steelers as well. So Steelers ain't gonna be dismissed as well. Matter of fact, that's our segue. Let's get into the Steelers. The Steelers also suffered some tragedy a couple months ago, losing Dwayne Haskins, with the highway accident. So that lightened their quarterback room. But they did did sign Mr. Trubisky. And like I said, I kind of like Mr. Trubisky. I think Trubisky ain't bad. I think you just have to get that offense, tell the offense around him. So let's look at their schedule real quick, then we'll talk more about them. Like I said, I'm looking at a schedule, but they put the Ravens games first, even if it's like in December or whatever. So they play the Ravens, because they play the Ravens twice in the same division. So they play them on December 11th and New Year's Day, which I mentioned on the Ravens schedule. So it's kind of late in the season and close together. So I'm going to run through the rest of the games. Of course, they got Cincinnati. That's a road game at first. Then at New England. New England come to Pittsburgh, excuse me. Then this is a Thursday night game against the Browns. I just mentioned that. Then they play the New York Jets. Then they at Buffalo. Tough game. Tampa, that's tough. At home. Dolphins, everybody talk about the Dolphins this year. Now that they made the trade for Hill. That's a Sunday night game, by the way. On the road. At Philadelphia, a lot of people talk about the Eagles, what they could do this year. Saints at home. Then the Bengals again at home. Then go to Indianapolis. That's a Monday night game. and at Atlanta, at Carolina. Then they get the Raiders. Raiders are an interesting team this year. That's a Thursday night game, by the way. Oh no, it's New Year's Christmas Eve. I don't know if it's Thursday or not, but it's on the NFL Network, so that's why I thought automatically Thursday night. But it's a night game, so a primetime game. And then they got the Browns at home. That's their final game, but the Ravens games, which I mentioned, is in between. Yeah, so the Steelers, like I said, their biggest thing is, can they find a quarterback? They drafted the young kid from Pittsburgh University, Kenny Britt. We'll see how that would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, how he would pan out. But I think Mr. Trubisky right now is probably the leader to get that starting job. I think Haskins had a chance if he wouldn't have tragically passed. I think he would have had a chance to get that job. We all know Ben Roethlisberger retired. So that relieves the big hole in the quarterback room. But I think Mr. Trubisky, if you get that offensive line right, call the plays, like some rollouts, tailor the offense to his attributes, and I think he could play okay. You see what he did in Chicago, even though he got a bad rap. But I think it's because Patrick Mahomes lit it up so much, So I think that the fans and everybody else is overthinking. I think they could have gave him some more time, but things happen in the NFL. That's the NFL, so. So I think he's a decent quarterback. I'm not saying he's MVP and all this other stuff, but I think with that Pittsburgh defense, which is definitely the straw suit, as long as he don't turn the ball over, Najee Harris got to play better. I think he had a decent season, but I think, as a rookie, but I think he got to turn it up. If he played better, I think the Steelers could, they the Steelers, so I know. I've been watching it, they've been around with the Ravens for a long time, so I follow the Steelers a lot. Shout out to my man, Good Vibes. And if you watch it, brother, I'm gonna do your request right as soon as I get off this, finish this recording. I'm gonna go ahead and put that base MLB 22 video together for you. So, but he's a Steelers fan. We was joking a little bit on the live stream a couple weeks ago. But the Steelers are not pushovers. That defense is going to keep them in a lot of games, and if you make one or two plays on the offensive side, you can win some games. So that's the AFC North and our Roundabout Series. So we got two divisions to go, both Wests. We're going to stay in the AFC. We're going to do the AFC West next week. So that's the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, the LA Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. Of course, that division is stacked, especially at the quarterback position. So we have a lot to talk about with those guys next week. Of course, within the next month or so, I'll be doing a wall-to-wall NFL preview, who I think will make it to Super Bowl. I haven't really been thinking about it too hard yet, because this year to me is kind of tough. And both the AFC and the NFC is kind of tough for me. So I gotta give it some real thought, but stay tuned for that later on. I make a good time. I got about maybe 8 minutes, so let me give quick final thoughts real quick, so I can wrap this up. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, the Sonic Origins videos been doing amazing. I already got 2 videos over 500 views. 1 video about to hit 1,000 views. So I appreciate it. Everybody likes Sonic. That's why I like retro games. This blew up, so I'll be doing more content on that for sure. I dropped a Call of Duty video. I did a lot of work this week. I mean, it's a lot going on behind the scenes, but I've been trying to stay focused and get y'all good content. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, it's doing alright. It kind of started off hot, sort of cooled off a little bit, but I'm still doing some videos on that. I put up a video yesterday of me playing online. So I dropped a lot of videos, dropped a lot of Sonic videos last week, so they'll still keep coming. And like I just mentioned, as soon as I get off here, I'm not going to sleep, which I should, because I don't get a lot of time. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with work, personal things. Just a lot of stuff going on, man, that I don't want to get deeply into, but it's just rough, man. Life sucks. I mean, sometimes, man, it does. Like, just so much going on, man. Like, you just be wanting to just walk away from all of this. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to, like I said, kill the time that I got left. But I appreciate it, everybody. So good vibes, look out for your video. I'm going to split it in half. So I'm going to do the first 5 innings in one video. Then I'm going to do the last, 6 through 9 in the second half video. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. Next week, like I said, we'll do the AFC West. More NBA news. Will Durant get traded by next week? We don't know. We'll look at what happened this week with Max Scherzer. Did he get the start? So we'll get to look at some of this stuff next week, see how this stuff develops. Will the Washington verdict come out by then? All your latest news I have it next week. All your latest topics I will cover next week. Like I said, thanks so much for the support lately. I post my IG. I put my IG in the description box and my PlayStation tag. And I'm gonna say this again. It's nothing personal. It's been people. This is probably for the PlayStation Network. Thank PlayStation Network as well. I gotta shout out the PlayStation Network. I think that's where a lot of my traction is coming from as well as YouTube. I put the PlayStation my handle in there. Now you got these. I'm gonna explain it again. You got the close friend request. You got the regular friend request. I'd rather just do the regulars. Even though y'all already know my name, it's not really a lot more information you can get from that. But I just think that just to keep it, just not to make it too personal, because sometimes I can't get on. Like, there's some people that be wanting to get online and play some things, and sometimes I can't. And I don't want nobody getting upset. Not saying that this would not make you upset, because you can still get upset anyway. But I just think it's just better to just, send a regular friend request, and then, we get to know each other a little bit. Maybe we'll do the personal. Even though we accept the personal, you get their information, but you can leave yours blank. Only thing different about mine is my full name is in there and my picture of me. But that's all. Everything else is just still the same. But it's just to keep things, cordial. That's all. That's why, I said I'd rather just accept regular friend requests, unless I know you personally, because that's the only people that has my close friend requests. Is people I know personally, that I actually know. I don't know you. I'd rather keep it at, regular friend requests, and then if we develop a friendship or relationship or whatever, then we can always do that. So please, if you're sending that, please keep it back. I had to tell somebody yesterday, and they didn't send. I don't know if they just say be back online, but I sent the message saying send a regular friend request, and I accept that. So. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to edit this video, then I'll be right back on the grind with some MLB to show. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support, all the love. Shout out to my friend Happy Hearts 888. I'm gonna check on her. Like I said, still watch her channel, TBQD. She's a gamer as well. She do a lot of Grand Theft Auto playthroughs and stuff, so check her out. And everybody, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Don't want to kill the time. I'm Troy West. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next week. Look out for my shorts as well. You might see some information there. And thank you for watching right here on the Silent Sports and Gaming channel. And that's it. See you later. Thank you so much. Peace and love, everyone.